Hello and welcome back to another episode of It Starts With You. My question for you today is, where are you headed? We are diving all into your vision, where you're going, where you're headed, why you want to go there. First, I am cozied up here. If you are just listening, I want you to imagine that it's getting colder out, the fall weather is hitting, and I am recording this today cozied up with a snuggly blankie and a casual sweater today, and I'm loving it. And if you're watching YouTube, you can see it. I am set and ready to talk to you today about your vision. So this has actually been something that I've been talking about quite a bit lately, where for so many people, you might, I see one of two things when I'm working with either executives, with high performers, with business owners, entrepreneurs. Like they either have this big goal that they want. They have this big vision of where they want to go in their career, in their business, in their life. And they might not know how to actually take the steps to execute on that. So it's like, okay, I want to go here. I've got this idea to have this really successful career, be this high level executive, or run this really successful business, or be this really successful speaker and have a beach house and a cabin and all of these things. But I don't know how to actually get there. Or sometimes what I see is the other end, where you know how to do things and you're constantly doing things and checking things off your list, but you struggle to have the big vision of what do you want? How do you set a vision? How do you set your vision for, sometimes it's for your teams or for your company, and sometimes it's your vision for yourself. And so when I give one of my signature talks, which I just was giving the other week at a company, and this is one of the things we talked about, is I talk about when you change your thoughts, you change your life, right? So when you change the way you think about yourself and other people and your situation, you can truly create a new ripple effect, a new domino effect, and change your life. With that said, I always talk about the first step, which is choose it. You have to know what that is that you want. You have to choose your goals and your dreams and your vision over the fear. And I always say life is going to come and it's going to slap you in the face and it's going to keep coming, and sometimes it's all going to come at once. So you have to know where you're headed and you have to know why you want that. And you have to be able to ride the waves that are going to come. I always say this, like ride the waves of life or entrepreneurship or whatever it might be for you. And it starts with knowing where you want to go and anchoring into why. I always talk about like conviction, having this strong conviction of why you want it. And I thought about this because when I was giving this keynote talk the other week, a lot of the feedback I got from people is that they could really relate to my stories and my examples, because I talk about how, for me, when I decided to go out and start my business, one of my strongest whys, one of my biggest convictions was to help people realize what they are capable of. And the only way that I would be able to continue doing what I do through all of this stuff that has happened, right? So if you've been around for a while listening, we've had a lot of health things hit our family over the last couple years, and it would have been really easy to throw in the towel and say like, okay, this is just too much. But I had that strong why and that strong conviction. So we talk about how important it is to anchor into that. And so I want to walk you through today actually this what I call a vision funnel. And I'm actually going to link in the show notes a free resource for you to have. A lot of people downloaded this when I offered this to the group that I was speaking to. I got a lot of people that were like, yes, I want this resource, because essentially what it is I'm going to talk about this vision funnel high level and how you can figure out what yours is. And then you can actually download this resource. You can even pause this episode right now, go sign up for it so that you could actually be looking at it while I'm talking about it. And it's going to walk you through step by step how to do this so that you can do it on your own. Why this is so important is because if you are most likely if you're listening to this, you're a high performer, you're a high achiever, and you are looking to take control of the things you want and get results, reach your potential, right? That's most likely why you're listening. Maybe you're just a friend, a family member. That's awesome too. And you just like to listen to me tell stories. That's great too. But if you are that person that's going, I know that I want these big things. I want to achieve these big things. Help me do it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get clear on your vision. You need to get clear on where do you want to go in the long term. Let's look 5, 10, 15 years from now. What do you want for your life? And when you think about your vision, I always encourage people, don't just think, I want you to think of it holistically, meaning not only what do you have, what have you achieved, but how do you feel? So I'm going to give you a couple prompts of things to think about. Now we're starting long term, right? So think of an upside down triangle, right? So we're going to look at a pyramid here. So it's bigger on the top. And we're going to try and scale it down. So we're going to start with the top, which is that long term vision. 5, 10, 15 years from now. What are you doing? What type of work do you do? Who are you surrounding yourself with? How much money do you make? Where do you live? What types of things do you do? How do you spend your time? Right? So what are some of those tangible things? And I want you to really picture it. And also, who are you in this time? How do you feel? What do you think? Who are you 5, 10, 15 years from now? So you might go, I have a beach house and I have a cabin and I'm running a really successful and thriving business organization. I am happy. I'm joyful. I'm feeling fulfilled. I feel like I have balance in my life. I'm making X amount of money. I take X number of vacations. I'm hanging out with people who elevate me and who help me thrive. Right? That's what I want you to do. And I want you to picture it so clearly. Then we have that big vision. Then we want to break it down into, okay, sometimes for people that feels so far off, it feels so far away. So then we want to go, okay, let's look at 1 year from now. If we were to look 1 year from now and to create your vision, again, I want you to do this. If you need to pause and use this as like a little mini workshop time, go ahead and do it. If you're listening to this and you can't do it, come back and revisit this and download that resource. 1 year from now, if you were living a more powerful and fulfilled life, what would you be doing? If life was exactly how you wanted it to be 1 year from now, what would that look like? How do you spend your days? How do you feel? Who do you spend your time with? Who are you showing up as? And I want you to write it out so that you have it so clearly in your mind that 1 year from now, this is the person that you're going to be. We need to know where we're headed. And the last piece I want you to add into this 1 year vision is why. Why is it so important to you? When I do this work with my clients, I will ask them why until we get to like the deep root. Well, because I want to make a lot of money. Why? Because I want to be able to take vacation when I want, because I want flexibility. Why? Until you get to the deepest root of why it is. Because I want to create a legacy for my family, because I want to be able to spend time with my family, because I want to create lasting impact for people. What is that deep-rooted thing? Because when you can anchor into that why, and when you can couple it up with your vision, that is what is going to get you through on the days that are really tough, the days that are really hard that you want to throw in the towel. So we've got this really clear vision. Now, here's the thing. This is great. That's where you're headed toward. That's like the mountain we're pointing at and we're going, that's where I'm going. Now what we need to do is we need to break that down so that we actually know step by step what we need to be doing. This is what I do. All of the things that I have achieved and that I continue to strive for, I do this type of work and then I write it down every single day. I've talked about my morning routine or what I'm grateful for, and I write down dreams as if they've already happened. Those dreams that I have came from me doing this vision work because I know where I want to go. And every single day I'm reminding myself of where I'm headed. And then creating the roadmap to getting there. So you've got your 1 year vision. Now, if you're looking at the vision funnel, what you would see next is you would see now we need to break it down. Okay, if that's where you want to be in 1 year from now, what does that look like in 6 months, in 3 months, in 1 month, in a week, today? What would the version of you be doing today to get you a step closer to that vision 1 year from now? Let me give you an example. If 1 year from now, you want to be a successful, thriving speaker or confident in your speaking and pitching ideas to people, whatever that looks like, what would that person be doing today? Maybe it's speaking up in a situation when you normally wouldn't. Maybe it's pitching yourself for an opportunity that's been in the back of your mind, right? That's the step. So we want to break it down. So we go, okay, in 1 week I would have done this, in 1 month I would have done this, in 6 months I would have done this, and it's all going to help build to me achieving that vision of myself 1 year from now. Now we're going to take it even further, right? We're digging deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay, if that's your vision for yourself, What are the tangible goals that are going to help get you there? So let's just use an example. Let's just say you want to write a book. Okay, that's part of your vision. 1 year from now, you're an author. And we're just going to use this example. Okay, 1 year from now, you're an author. What would be the tangible goals that you would need to do to get to being an author? Okay, well, you would need to come up with what genre that you want to write a book about. You would need to brainstorm ideas of what you'd want to write a book about. You would need to start outlining it and decide if you're going to get it, if you're going to self-publish or get it traditionally published. All of those things. Let's say 1 year from now, you want to have elevated yourself in your career. And maybe in order to do that, you need to get a new certification. Okay, so that would be part of the goals. So it's the actual tangible specific things, right? Think of SMART goals. It's specific, measurable, achievable. I think results oriented, time oriented. I might be messing them up a little bit, but really those really specific goals. Okay, we're going to look at all those goals. I have all these goals, all these things that I'm going to do. I'm going to get this certification. I'm going to become an author. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. All these specific goals that you have. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pick one. And I know if you were like me, you're going to struggle with this because I always like to be doing a lot of things at once. I'm like, but I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. But here's what we know is if we are trying to do too many things at once, then we are only making a little bit of progress in each one. So I want you to imagine, I've seen this diagram before of people digging a hole, and let's just say there's a pot of treasure. There's a chest of treasure underneath the ground. And you're digging and digging and digging, and one person keeps on digging all the way down and they get to it, and the other person gives up just beforehand, right? Here's the thing. If we have too many goals going at once, we're going to dig in all these different holes and we're going to go right around that treasure. Versus if we take one thing, we focus and spend our time doing that, we find that treasure, and then we move on to another spot and we can find another treasure, right? So try and pick the one thing, the one goal that's going to help get you closer to this 1 year vision of yourself. How do you decide on the goal to pick? There's a few things. It could be something you've already started. It could be something that excites you the most. It could be something that's going to give you the most traction. So let's use this example of you want to elevate yourself in your career, and there's a certification that's going to help you do that. Maybe that's the goal that you pick. Let's go with that. Whatever, a certification in your industry or something that you want to do, it's going to help you elevate yourself to get you closer to the version of yourself you want to be in 1 year from now. You look at all of your goals and you go, that's the one. This certification is the one that excites me and that's going to get me the closest. Now, we're going to put all those other ones aside. We're going to come back to those. We're going to get to those, right? Because they all are building blocks. But we're going to start with this. We're going to start with, let's just say, this certification. Now, what are the next step? We're almost there. We're going to drill into what are all of the things you need to do to achieve that certification. So imagine, and you'll see this on the resource, imagine winding road and you're starting at, I want the certification, and the finish line is you're certified in this thing. What are all of the things, what are all the mile markers, all the stepping stones that will get you there? Maybe it's, you need to research about it. You need to figure out when the test is. You need to figure out how much it costs and figure out the payment plan for it or funding for it. You need to start studying. You just sign up to take the test. You're going to write out all of the things you would need to do to achieve that one goal that you've picked. And then you're going to pick the 3 most important things. So for the example, I think I even have this on the resource, is maybe it's research about the certification. It's start studying, sign up to take the test, get the test. Right? So what we have done is we have gone from this big vision of where you want to go. We've started to break it down into 1 year from now because that can feel a little more achievable. And we know that we revisit this. When you do this work, you shouldn't just do this once and set it to the side. You should be really thinking about this every day and revisiting and going, okay, look I've just achieved one of my goals. That's part of my vision. Check. What's the next one? And you should be continuing to do this. But what we've done is we've narrowed it down so that you have those specific things to work towards, so that you don't give up because it feels overwhelming and you're always coming back and reminding yourself, this is why I'm doing it. I hope that this is helpful for you and that you're able to use this resource and find how this is going to help you get you closer and closer to your goals, because having the big vision and the excitement and the why and the conviction is one piece that we need. The other piece is the strategy. It's the steps. It's the action, right? It's one thing to go, I want that. I desire that. It's another thing to put in the work to do it. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please, I would absolutely love to hear from you and how you are using this. Share with me what you're working on, what your goal is. Share this episode, tag me, and let me know what is it that you are working on. What's your goal? What's part of your vision? And don't forget to download that resource to help support you in this journey. I cannot wait for you to keep building your way to your big dreams and vision.